Representative Donna Oberlander.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning.
Good morning.
My question relates to child welfare, and I do understand that over the past few years, the Office of Children, Youth, and Families has really taken a good look at the documentation that they're requiring from their contractors. My question is, right now, is it accurate to say that there's about a third of the 200 private sector providers that do not have signed contracts? They're awaiting their state-approved rates and therefore are also waiting for payment?
Okay, actually that is not accurate, so I appreciate that you asked the question so that we can clarify. For fiscal years 11-12, there were 206 provider packets that were brought into the department, the OCYF, and 205 of those are finalized. For 12-13, submitted packets were 191, and 70% of those are finalized. We have had, through the years, some major issues around what the provider packets look like. And for child welfare, it's a very unique system because the contracts are done from the counties with the providers, not by the office. We then have the information submitted. As I'm sure many of you know, we have had a deferral, and we're on deferral, and we've had some issues around whether or not we're providing accurate information and are we claiming our 4E correctly. Because of that, we do this check with the packets. We have met with them. We've been meeting with them, having work groups over the last year. As part of those work groups, we've moved to like a 2-year. If nothing's changed, you don't have to do a packet every year. You can do it every 2 years. So we're really working with them on that, streamlining, simplification, and we are doing much better. So that would have been accurate a couple years ago. It is not accurate today. Okay.
Well, let's move away from the child welfare providers into some of the other contractors who do have to wait for their rate setting. In the past, they've also had the same issue. They're not getting their rates until after the fiscal year. They're giving money back to the state. By that time, they've already in good faith provided those services. It's putting a real burden on some of our biggest employers and most vulnerable citizens when they then lose their housing or whatever services they're being provided.
Do you have any, Representative, do you have any specifics about which group of contractors, providers we're looking at here?
I can give you specific names of companies, but I prefer not to do that with PCN.
No, that's
so
the reason I asked is because we had heard that even in regard to child welfare, and we actually did some really important things last year to move up the payments for the county so they could pay their providers. So if you have specifics, that will give us the opportunity to take a look at it, see what the issue is, and then we certainly will address it.
That would be terrific.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, a large driver in the budget is the medical transportation funding.
Yes.
I know personally a couple of years ago, I believe, the rate was set at 12 cents a mile for reimbursement. I understand that's going up to 16 cents from your budget book. But the number of trips are over 11 million a year, I believe. Have you done any analysis of, are people not able to drive their own vehicles or get transportation themselves because 12 cents doesn't even come close to covering it, and it's forcing people into the other part of that system and driving the costs?
As the Executive Director of Human Services in York County before I came back here to the state, MATP was one of my biggest areas of question. There was a lot going on. I was wondering, were we doing more than the federal government required? Were we able to meet the service needs? So in our county, we had some major issues. So when I came in about a year ago to the Office of Children, Youth, and Families, I kind of forgot about it. Now I'm back at this level, and we absolutely will be looking at that. We have been looking at it as a department. and we'll continue to do so. We're going to work with Department of Transportation. What's really happening? What can we do? What changes need to be made? So we will be taking a close look at that.
Oh, thank you. I certainly appreciate your expertise in this very difficult arena and look forward to working with you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.